Sairam, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and my humble pranams to all of you. I'd like to share with you today some of the learnings we gained in our spiritual journey. Why? Hoping that these learnings could be useful to you in your own spiritual journey. There are two statements that were made while we were on this journey, and they were made by Swami to Shivangini, one of them. One of the statements was made to Shivangini. The first statement, I'll state the statements, and the third question which arose after that one, I'll state them. These are the three is what we're going to address today and learn about them. The first statement is, Swami said, situation, position, results are mine. Only effort is yours. That's the one statement. And there were a bunch of Western devotees one time in the darshan line, and they asked Swami, is there free will? And Swami said at that time, free will? There's no free will. There's only choice. Choose God or choose world. That's what he said. So if the situation, position, results are God's and there is no free will, one Western devotee asked me, if I do not have free will and situation, position, results are God's, all of those things are occurring around are God's, in what way then am I responsible for the actions that occur? And the people say your karma, because of karma you got this, you got that. In what way I am responsible at that time? So these are the three questions we're going to answer today. And we'll learn, not answer, but we'll learn about them, shed light on them. Okay? But before we get into those, we need a little background. And what are the backgrounds? One is these things called Vasanas. What are Vasanas? Vasanas are tendencies, impressions, likes, dislikes, your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, all of them come into the play there. All these vasanas are within us, and that's what makes our personality. We call it svabhava. So each of us will come with a personality. Even the identical twins have different vasanas. If we did not have vasanas, then we never had to take birth due to karma consequences. Usually our scriptures and saints tell us it is our karma consequences which brought us here, and we are here to fulfill them. Okay, so these are the vasanas. Now vasanas, since this life, we all of us have come into this life because of vasanas. Those vasanas which are going to get worked out in this life, they are called prarabdha karmas. Okay, so vasanas which are going to be worked out in this life are prarabdha karma. So when I use the words, understand it that way. So this prarabdha karma, which we are here to, which we have come into this life to fulfill, all the circumstances and all the requirements for that are put together for us. They say even including the body that we have, the gender we have, everything is determined by these vasanas, because essentially we have come in to work out those vasanas. So to work them out, it will create all the paraphernalia that is necessary for that. So that is the role of the vasana. Now about the predetermination. What is predetermination? See, our actions, karmas are based on our thoughts. Because usually we say thought leads to word, word leads to action. So all of our thoughts is where everything begins, our karmas and actions that begin in life. And what karmas we do, what actions we do in this life is basically is what life is all about. What we are either thrown into or what we are doing. That's what occurs all around us. And these karmas, these vasanas are the ones which generates the thoughts in us. Because if you think about the thoughts that you get, usually you say, I am thinking, but you don't really have control. That's what the scriptures tell you, all the saints tell you, is that the vasanas are the ones which generate the thoughts in each one of us. And since vasanas are trying to get worked out in this life, the thoughts that we beget and everything else that occurs in us is due to, or they are in a manner, in a fashion, which are in a way to be worked out, to work out those vasanas. Okay. So what it does is, all the things that happen to us, all the things that are going to happen to us, are all put together by the vasanas at the time, by the time we are born, not at the time, but by the time we are born. And that's why we call that everything in this life, that is prarabdha karma, the vasanas which are going to be worked out in this life, that prarabdha karma is predetermined. All the way from every minute little thing to a very big major thing, everything is predetermined. That's what the scriptures tell you, that's what the saints will tell you. That it's all predetermined. So that is basically the predetermination. So with that as the background, now we understand what is vasanas, we understand what the predetermination is, and we were struggling, Shivangini and I were struggling on how to deal with the situations we come across while we were going through our spiritual journey. We are thrown into situations, people, interactions, and everything else. How do we really go about doing the right thing while we are undergoing through those situations? At that time, Swami uttered that first sentence. That first sentence is, situation, position, results are mine, only effort is yours. Then Shivangini asked Swami. She said that, Swami, please explain, because I don't quite understand. How do I really understand better? Then Swami reminded her, interestingly, he reminded her what she was saying in one of the Bhagavad Gita study circles which she was conducting. She made a statement, and Swami said, just the way you made that statement. And what is that? She was saying that when God wants to accomplish a task, when God wants to give a result, He utilizes people. He utilizes the gunas they have, the qualities they have. And what are these gunas and qualities? These are nothing but manifestation of vasanas. Vasanas within us are unmanifest because we cannot see them. We cannot look into ourselves and say, these are my vasanas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cannot count them like that. I don't even know they exist. But only when they manifest, they exist. So God, when He wants to produce the result, He utilizes the gunas in each one of the people in the situation which is out there, by instigating, by not instigating, by inspiring, by motivating them to act. Like an angry person will act angrily. A compassionate person will, with compassion in them, they will act compassionately. And one who is very logical and very reasonable, and he will act accordingly to that one. These are the qualities which are utilized by God. He inspires those qualities to bring about a certain result in that situation over there. Okay, He simply uses that. So, and what is that for? To produce a result. A result could be a harm, a negative thing happening, or a help, a positive thing happening. And it could be either one. Because based on our karmic consequences, either we deserve a bad thing, a bad consequence, or we deserve a good consequence. Either one of them is being delivered to us by God, by these people, the people around us, by utilizing their gunas. So harm or help is a result. The individual person's guna is a tool. Okay. So it simply is a tool. And the one who wants to give that to us is God. And why does He want to give us that? Is it because He doesn't like us or whatever? No, not like that. It is because based on your prarabdha karma, you are supposed to undergo that. So for that, God is generating that result by utilizing the people, by utilizing their gunas. And those are the people who with their gunas produce the result to us. So this is what Swami meant when he said that situation, position, and results are mine. Because he's the one who's creating that situation over there through the vasanas. He's the one who's putting you in that position. This is because he's utilizing the gunas in us. He's inspiring the gunas in us and is producing that result which we deserve to get. It could be good, it could be bad. Either one of them which we deserve, we have to undergo through that one. Okay, so that is that part. Now, what is the effort that Swami said is yours? The person who thinks that he's doing the action will either feel sad or happy based on the result, right? This feeling of happiness, this feeling of sadness comes because there is doership in that person. So that is one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is all the motives that person has, all the thoughts, feelings, reactions, notions, impressions that the person undergoes before the action occurs, during the action while it is occurring, and after the action it occurs. If you have all those feelings and thoughts and everything that you go through, those really generate vasanas. And those vasanas need, once they are formed, they need to be worked out. And they are worked out in the next life. So it becomes prarabdha karma for next life. This is what in scriptures they call it agami karma. So when do we do this agami karma? We do it when we feel the doership and we go through all the emotions and feelings and everything else. So that's what Swami says, the effort is yours. Now he says to choose, when he said effort is yours, he didn't say that here actually there is a choice. That's why the effort is yours. What is the choice we have? Choice is either we can feel all this way, what I just described, or the other way to look at it is, what is happening is, to me, is because of prarabdha. What the result that is going to come to me, either good or bad, it is because I deserve it. My prarabdha is giving it to me. All the people who are either treating me well or treating me bad or giving me a hard time or whatever they are merely instruments of God who's utilizing them to deliver this particular result to me. Hence, I'll go through it with equanimity and I'll keep praying to God while I'm going through it, whether it is good or bad. If I take it that way, that is where your effort comes in. Because here, God does not ask you to do one way or the other. He's really telling you this is where you put in the effort, and if you do it this particular way, then it is do you good. There is no agami karma for you. But if you don't do it, but if you feel the worldly way, then it's going to be agami karma. Okay, so that is where the situation, position, results are mine, but effort is yours. This effort, this agami karma is yours. Okay, that's what Swami said. Now we'll move to the next question that Swami said, next statement Swami made, which is there a free will? Swami said there is no free will. There is only choice, either choose world or choose God. Before we delve further into it, we need to understand what is free will the way we define it. Free will typically is if I think of something and if I go ahead and can execute what I thought of, then I feel that I have free will. Like I want to eat ice cream, and as soon as a thought occurred to me, okay, I want ice cream, I'm going to go do it. So I get up and go up to the refrigerator, pick out the ice cream, take it and eat it. So I've executed it. So I feel that it is my free will that I could go up there and do. I felt it, I wanted to have it, and I went ahead and had it. So it's my free will that got done. Okay. Now, instead, if somebody else tells me to do something and I go ahead and do it, do I feel that it is my free will? Yeah, all of us will say no. It is somebody else's will. They wanted me to do it and I ended up executing it. It is not my free will, it is their free will. So eventually, where does it come down to? Whether it is my thought which generated the action and fulfilled it, or whether it is somebody else's thought which generated the action and fulfilled it. If it is my thought generating the action and fulfilling it, then it is my free will. Then if it is somebody else's thought generating the action, then it is somebody else's will. Okay. Now here, when we talked about vasanas earlier, right? Vasanas are prarabdha karmas that getting executed now. So with that being, and we also said that we have thoughts coming to us into our head, and vasanas are the ones which are giving us the thoughts. I tend to name them, I named it, call them the thought generators, vasanas are. As long as you have vasanas, it will generate thoughts in us. And that is one of the reasons why all of us are constantly thinking. We cannot stop our thinking. Because it is totally, that whole thought machine, the entire machine is run by vasanas. So the thoughts are coming to us continuously, and we cannot stop them. And if we feel like doing, and we also said that in the predetermination, even the smallest thing to the highest thing that we want to do, everything is predetermined, we said earlier. And if these vasanas are generating those thoughts into me, and I'm incessantly speaking it, then how is it my thought? See, my thought means I should have the ability to stop it, not think, and then only think when I want to think, and when I think of it, execute it. Then you have that free will. Typically, it is said in the scriptures and the saints is, these are the people who are fully realized, who have complete control on their mind. They are the people who have free will. They are the ones who can think of something and go ahead and execute. Rest of the time, they don't think. They have the ability to stop it and all that. So in our case, and most of us here listening to it and so on, in our case, our thoughts are constantly coming. So how can we call it our thoughts? They are thoughts from vasanas, not from you. So hence, you do not have free will. We do not have free will. Okay. But Swami said, no free will, but you have a choice. And the choice is to turn towards God or turn towards world. Now we already went through it. When we went through about the effort is yours, when Swami said that in the effort portion, either whether to have the doership and the feelings and the motives and everything else that goes with that one, or not have that, but think of it as God is doing it, and it is my prarabdha, and I'm going to do what is dharma, and I'm going to undergo through it with forbearance if it is bad, and with equanimity if it is good. If I go through that one, then that is the choice we have. And what Swami is saying, when there is no free will, choosing the world is the way of people, the doership, the feelings and thoughts. Choosing God is the other way, which I've stated that one. So that's what Swami meant when he said there is no free will. Now we come to the last question here, which is the person who asked me, saying that if there is no free will, and if everything is predetermined already by prarabdha karma, then how am I responsible for it? What am I responsible for? And here the clarity is, in the last life, we reacted to situations like this one, which God was executing, making things happen and so forth. But in that we had doership, and we had feelings, we had thoughts, we had impressions, and we generated our vasanas, which gave us this life and this prarabdha karma. So in this prarabdha karma, when we are undergoing through this prarabdha karma, the thoughts, feelings, the doership, and the notions, and everything else that we undergo, which will create impressions in us, and they become the agami karma, and they lay the foundation for our next life. So in that manner, you are responsible now for your next life, but not necessarily for what you're encountering and what you're undergoing. That's why they say you're not responsible for what happens to you. You're responsible for what you do. And what they mean that is, which way do you think? Do you think God-worldly or do you think world-worldly? And that is what is in our, choice, in our effort, in our freedom to do. So that is the very limited free will or freedom we have that we can do. Another example that Swami gave to explain the same thing is, think about a postman who comes to your door and delivers a letter to you. You open the letter and you see some good news in it or some bad news in it. If it is good news, you feel great. Are you going to praise the postman and hug them because they gave you such good news? Or if it is bad news, are you going to get mad at the postman because he delivered such bad news to you? And the answer is usually not. Why? Because postman did not do anything in between. He's actually delivering a letter mailed by someone to you, and he's just giving it to you. And he has got nothing to do with the good news in it or the bad news in it. And how to understand this one in what we just said? It is you in your last life. You wrote that letter with the good news in it or the bad news in it. Good news is thinking Godward when you're reacting to situations then. Bad news is then being having the doership and feeling all the emotions and everything else in there. That's what you wrote and created the Vasanas. And Vasanas is that letter. And that letter is being delivered to you now with all the people who are around you. They are acting actually like postmen giving it to you. So now think about why we react and overreact to people who are either giving you bad news or giving you good news. And also another thing to think about it is, now when you're reacting to the current things that are happening to you, what do you plan to write in that one which is going to get delivered to you by the postman in the next life? It is your choice there. It is up to you. And that's what Swami was indicating there. Okay? Sai Ram.